Datang dan pelajari trik sulap yang Anda sukai. Jangan lupa subscribe video di tombol di bawah video ini. Selamat menonton. Diam. Kalau udah tahu diam. Anda nampak hebat jikalau mereka belum tahu caranya. Maka dari itu, jaga rahasia. Oke? Tonton selanjutnya.
Hi, my name's Dave Hudspeth. I'm going to teach you 25 tricks with a Thumtip. Now, as you know, what in the world? Excuse me. Oh, look, it's a little magic handkerchief. A lot of you are probably wondering why you didn't see that handkerchief or where it came from. These are all good questions, but what you may want to ask yourself is, where does that handkerchief go? Well, don't worry, I'll tell you. It went down here inside this handkerchief. Yes, right here in the center of the handkerchief, believe it or not. There it is, the little red handkerchief. Now, look, I'm going to take that and push it back down into the middle of this handkerchief, right there. Watch it close. All I have to do is squeeze it, passes right through this handkerchief, and it's now landed in my hand below. Well, I tell you what, let's spice things up a little bit. I'll take a little bit of salt and pour that into the hand just like this. Now all I have to do is rub the back of the knuckles like that. That warms it up and makes that salt disappear. Of course, if you want that salt to come back, you simply reach out, snap your fingers, and that salt comes right back. Now that's all 1,486 grains. You're welcome to count them if you like. This next trick is hard to match, even though it uses a match. I simply take a match, light it, and I place that lit match into my hand, it doesn't burn at all because that match disappears. Well, last but not least, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to borrow this dollar bill. Now, what I'm going to do is give you a corner of the bill as a receipt. Now, you hang on to that, and what I'll do is take your dollar bill and fold it up nice and small. And I'm going to place your dollar bill into my hand, and believe it or not, change it into a $100 bill. By giving it a squeeze, it's now it's now disappeared. That's all right. Take the corner of the bill that I gave you to the bank, go up to the teller, explain to them what happened, ask them for another dollar bill, and the teller, of course, will look at you and say, next. No, that's not very good. I don't want you to go away mad, so I tell you what. In my pocket, I happen to have another dollar bill. I'll give to you to replace the one that disappeared. It's folded up just like yours, and as a matter of fact, it's missing a corner. Why, what do you know? It is your dollar bill. The explanation for these tricks is simple. It uses the thumb tip. Now, a thumb tip is a fake thumb that fits on your thumb. It's hollowed out in the middle. You don't have to worry about the color matching exactly or anything like that, but it fits right on the tip of your thumb. Now, it's important that when you have the thumb tip on that you don't hold your hand in this position, because then something's obviously wrong with your thumb. However, you can point the thumb tip directly at the audience with your hand like this. Your hand will look empty, and nobody will know that you have a thumb tip on your hand, okay? Now, the first trick that I did is where I made a handkerchief appear out of the thumb tip. And the way I did this was by having a handkerchief inside the thumb tip to begin with. This goes on your thumb, and then you can flash your hand empty in this position. Remember, the thumb tip is here. Simply reach out, bend your thumb in, curl your fingers around the thumb tip, and now as you go to remove the thumb, simply drag it along the inside of the thumb tip, and that forces out the silk, and then just continue pulling that out. Now, take it out with the other hand, and what you're going to do is reinsert the thumb into the thumb tip and hide it behind this silk. So you simply do that, come behind the silk, and now you've got this thumb tip hidden behind the silk. To vanish the silk, I simply transferred the thumb tip from one hand to the other, and I did that by simply bringing the hands together, loading the thumb tip, and raising up with this silk. So, real quick, at speed, you're like that. Now the thumb tip is in this hand, waiting for the silk, and the silk is over here. Now, to make it disappear, you poke it into the thumb tip with your index finger and middle finger. So poke it in, poke it in, poke it in. It's important when you do this that you keep the thumb of this hand under these fingers, because if it was out here, what you're going to end up doing is stealing it back onto the thumb. And if it's all the way out here, it's going to look kind of funny to come in. So simply poke it in, keep this under the hand, and at the opportune time, you simply stick the thumb into the thumb tip. Now, at this point, you can take this hand away, but what I prefer to do is actually rotate this hand away from my body. I'm flashing the hand as empty. I simply tap underneath, give it a blow, snap the fingers. This handkerchief has disappeared. Now, by brushing your hands together, no one will see the thumb tip, and no wonder where the handkerchief went. The next trick I did is where I made it reappear out of a handkerchief. Now, this is quite simple. I simply drape the handkerchief over my fist. Remember, the thumb tip is here, and load that thumb tip in and leave it behind, but it's hid by these fingers. So I simply come down, leave it in, and I pull out the silk from the thumb tip. Now, it's reappeared from another silk, and it's quite amazing. Now, to make it pass through that, all you do is simply tuck it in. Remember to keep your thumb hid underneath. Tuck it down in, steal it out, flash the hand empty, come back to a corner of the handkerchief, give this a squeeze, and then show that it's passed through. What you're really going to do now, and I'll remove this, is you're just going to come forward and load the thumb tip into your hand. But you do that under cover of the handkerchief, and then show that it's passed through. Now, to vanish the salt, which is a really neat trick, all you do is you have the thumb tip hid in your hand to begin with, which we already do. Have the cap removed from a salt shaker and dump some salt into the hand. Now, it's important to keep the salt shaker some distance away from your hand so that they actually see the salt going in to the thumb tip. At this point, what you're going to do is steal it out. Now, this time, instead of stealing that out from the top or rotating the hand away, I'm using a different method. I'm going to move the thumb forward and steal the thumb tip from behind my thumb. So by simply rolling over, I place my thumb into the thumb tip. Now this is taking place behind the thumb, not through the opening, okay? At this point, I can pull straight back like this, tap underneath, snap the fingers, show that it's disappeared. And of course, to bring it back, it's just like the silk. You simply show the hand empty, reach out, bend the thumb in, wrap the fingers around it, remove your thumb from the thumb tip, and then dump out all the salt. Now, when the salt is completely dumped out, you're going to take your thumb and reinsert it into the thumb tip. And then come down and hide the thumb tip under these fingers as you brush the salt away. The next thing we did, which is a real nice trick, uses a match. Now listen, if you're under 18, do not attempt this without adult supervision. All you do is you simply pick up a book of matches and you hide the thumb tip. Now look, I'm pointing the thumb tip directly at the audience, but they won't see it here. All I'm going to do now is take the matches and the thumb tip and put it all into my other hand and load the thumb tip here as I open the book of matches. So it's a simple matter of just bringing the hands together, load the thumb tip, open up the book of matches, and now remove a single match. Now you're going to light this match, put the book down, and insert this match into the thumb tip and steal it out. But when you put the thumb into the thumb tip, it cuts off the oxygen, the match goes out, so you don't have to worry about getting burnt. But once again, if you're under 18, don't try it without adult supervision. So here we go. We light the match, put the book of matches down. That's important. Just simply place it into the tip, and then just rotate the hand away, give it a tap if you like, and show that it's disappeared. For the dollar bill trick, the last one that I did in that little segment, simply borrow a dollar bill, and I removed a corner of it that I gave to the spectators to hold as a receipt. Now, you've got to fold this dollar bill up small enough so it'll fit into the thumb tip, and there's a certain way to do this. You need to fold it left to right, bottom to top, left to right, bottom to top, and there's a reason for this, and I'll show you. Look, we fold it left to right. Now I go...